Well guys, here I was waiting my happy ass till Tuesday for this book to release, knowing damn well that we about to get some good phone guy lore. But then all of a sudden, one of you guys let me know that y'all found the book already in store shelves. So the week before was supposed to release, I drove to the bookstore, and sure enough, there it was in all its glory. And so now that I've actually sat down and read every possible route you can go into this book, I will be letting y'all know not only just the overall review, whether you should get this book or not, but also what possible lore drops it has relating back to the games. Because for those of y'all who don't know, it is widely believed that this new sort of interactive novel series of Fnaf books are all canonical to the Fnaf games timeline. So without further ado, let's get into it. The way this book is structured, our main character called Ralph will be going through 5 to 6 nights at Freddy's depending on which ending you get, along with 5 to 6 days back home with your daughter. I really like the back and forth between the night and day segments. Of course, the night segments are the main part of the story, but the day segments give you a nice little break in between every night. Not only so you and the protagonist can take a breather, but also to give some nice moments between you and your daughter, really adding more of that emotional touch to the story and to your character. Which, by the way, speaking of your character, he is without a doubt Phone Guy. There is no question about it. You're feeling a bit nostalgic, and you think about your legacy as the Phone Guy. Anyways, while I was reading the rest of the book, I actually took notes and wrote down page numbers anytime I found something interesting that I'd want to share with y'all. So for the rest of this video, we're just going to be going over those. So just some fun tiny details first before we get into the real crazy shit, because trust me, when Night 6 rolls around, we are going to be in some deep, heavy shit. Anyways, we learned that Foxy used to sing in stage shows with the rest of the animatronics, so that's cool. Before the Pirate Cove, he was like on the stage with everyone else. Another cool detail we learn is that Freddy's poster honk is canon. We always knew it was a funny game mechanic in the first game to click on Freddy's nose on the Celebrate poster to make him honk. But now in here we read about Phone Guy actually honking Freddy's nose, and it actually makes a sound. That's pretty cool. I didn't know what I was necessarily expecting. I just kind of figured it was only a game mechanic. A few other fun Easter eggs include Phone Guy getting his own pizza flavor for being Employee of the Month so much, they call it the Ralph. What the fuck? Imagine you're going up to Pizza Hut and you're like, ah yes, I'll take the Ralph with extra sausage. Moving on from that though, good old Ralph also gives us a good explanation on why we never leave the restaurant at night whenever working the night shifts. Ever wonder why we don't just get up out the office and just get out of there? Apparently it's because the animatronics will fucking follow you. Whenever Ralph escapes the pizzeria and decides to just run back home, while he's just running away, Chica ends up somehow finding him, catching up to him, and killing him. The mental picture of Chica just booking it through the woods faster than a literal adult man is really funny. But here's where the little lore secrets and Easter eggs begin to get really weird. Really purple. While doing his nightly chores, there's a chance that Ralph will notice some sort of note pinned onto a Freddy Fazbear poster. Whenever he picks it up to read it, it says this: "A master key is not in this game. You are the one who must live with your shame. You know what they say, cheaters don't win, but those who might try make the purple man grin." While below that being page numbers for every night, while also teasing the secret Night 6. So, what the fuck? I actually think I have an idea on why this secret's here, because to get to the secret, you have to have a certain item. But I think that item you actually can't have yet. Like, you're literally not capable of having that item by going there to that route. So by going through the route in the first place, it means you're cheating, essentially. And so this is Scott's way of being like, haha, you cheated, now here's a creepy secret. But anyways, pretty cool, pretty cool. As y'all will see throughout the rest of this video, this is not the end of our little purple guy Easter eggs. Because in another one of the non-canon endings, whenever Phone Guy dies in the supply closet, we then read a scene about whoever is working after Phone Guy, whoever the day shift guy is there. And it says, the next morning, the daytime security guard is shocked to find blood splattering the west hall right in front of the supply closet. Jeez, some people are so lazy, he says. The mop is right there. He then reaches inside the closet and starts mopping you up. Now, am I the only one who read that and immediately thought of William Afton? I mean, come on, would anybody else be that nonchalant about literal blood on the floor? Not to mention the fact that the night guard is literally missing. Also, the book makes it apparent that there is an engineer working at Fredbear's called Dave.
Dave? Dave! Dave?
Well, if you're like Wharfstash here, forgetting about your old pal Dave and how he may connect to the Fnaf lore, Dave was the fake name that William Afton used in the Silver Eyes novel. Now, am I saying that the Dave in this book is William Afton just disguising himself? Not necessarily. On one hand, that does make sense, but on the other hand, we actually do get a scene where Phone Guy calls Dave, and Dave doesn't really seem too suspicious. Nothing about him really screams psychopath child murderer, so. But while we're on the topic, and because I kind of forgot to put this into the intro, I want to mention Ralph's personality. Ralph being Phone Guy, if that wasn't already clear. I don't know if I'm the only one who thought this, but with his personality and with the comments he makes throughout the book, he honestly kind of reminds me of a FNAF YouTuber. The way he just has his own like witty banter throughout everything. Even whenever something like really scary or life-threatening is happening, he still takes the time to make a joke about it or something. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I know that sort of sounds like it can ruin the scary moments or whatever, but there are times where he's like actually real and emotional, especially when talking about like his daughter. And those emotional scenes end up hitting extra hard whenever we get to his death. Although there is Night 6 that has a lot of weird lore implications, in terms of the game's canon, Phone Guy only makes it to Night 5, where we also finally get the answer, what killed Phone Guy? And the answer is yes. They all killed him. They literally jumped his ass during Night 5. All of them ganged up every side. He could not escape his office. So knowing that this is probably the end, he has one last option to make a phone call. You can either call the police telling them about the crazy animatronics at Freddy's, call your daughter and tell her goodbye one last time, or record a final message for the person who will be taking your place. And to be honest, why the fuck does he record a message for the person who takes his place? I get that that's what happens in the game, in the first game, but come on, man, you're not gonna call your daughter in your final moments? I understand not calling the police, considering that they may not believe you, even though if you still choose that ending, they will end up believing you, but not calling your daughter to tell her goodbye forever? That's pretty fucked up, especially considering that throughout the rest of the book, you are pretty much the best dad that exists in the FNAF lore. Even if the bar isn't too high, it's still shown how much you really care for your daughter throughout the book. But anyways, little rant aside, let us see the death of Phone Guy. It's looking like this is going to be your last night. It's some consolation that you will continue on in some way. Through your daughter, yes, but also through your legacy here at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. You might even end up saving someone's life one day. Through those recordings for the next person who will sit in the chair, whoever that poor soul may be. Do you have any last words? Maybe something that could help succeed where you failed? Don't overthink it. You dial the number for the recording system and start talking.
Oh, hello, hey.
You realize you never left a message for them last night. This will be sent on, what, their 4th night?
Hey, wow, day 4. I knew you could do it. Hey, listen, I may not be around to send you a message tomorrow. It's been a bad night here for me. I'm kind of glad that I recorded my messages for you when I did. Hey, do me a favor. Maybe sometime you could check inside those suits in the back room. I'm going to try to hold out until someone checks. Maybe it won't be so bad. Yeah, I always wondered what was in all those empty heads back there. You know. Oh no.
If you thought that was sad, then don't worry. There's literally other endings where you 1v1 Foxy with a water gun. Not all of them are necessarily depressing as shit. But in all seriousness, after going through this story and hearing about Ralph the Phone Guy and Coppelia his daughter, it really gives me a brand new appreciation for his character. Makes it all the more sad to see him go in Night 5. Unless you get the route where he survives to Night 6. If you can survive all the way up to Night 6, that is when some heavy fucking lore gets dropped. This book's story and characters practically double in Night 6. All of a sudden, Phone Guy gets a call from Bronwyn Light, some sort of investigator who's been keeping an eye out on Freddy's for a while now. By the time Phone Guy reads the message she left, she's already stuffed inside of a Fazbear suit. But right before her death, she gives Phone Guy a new mission. Apparently, the Ghost Kid possessed animatronics are plotting to escape the pizzeria. What the fuck? That's right, Willy's Wonderland style, going out into town, murdering everybody. So now Phone Guy must go back one more night to stop Freddy Fazbear and the gang. unless he doesn't want to. Another ongoing plot point throughout this game is your mental health, and the more you go to Freddy's, the more exhausted you become, and the less you're able to take care of your daughter. And so if you do survive night 5 and make it back home, Coppelia notices how beat up you've been mentally and begs you not to go back to Fazbear. And so if you decide to take her advice and find some other job instead, then both you and your daughter live happily ever after. Man, why can't that just be the canon ending? But going back for night 6 will make things really eventful really quickly. Finding Bronwyn's bloody body decaying in a Fazbear suit. You and your daughter spray Foxy with a water gun. So yeah, night 6 can get pretty weird. Probably one of the weirdest things is when Bronwyn tells you, when you find me dead, contact my mother, she'll know what to do. I'm sorry, but what the fuck? Who is Bronwyn and who is her mother, and why do they randomly have so much importance in the book? As far as I can look into it, I don't think there's any other connection to them and the game's lore, so it's just really odd to have these characters all of a sudden here. You remember how I was making a big deal at the beginning of this video about how weird night 6 just becomes? This is what I was talking about. But nonetheless, moving on, I won't tell you all of the different endings you can get for night 6, mainly because most of it doesn't have much lore importance, and if you guys want to read this on your own, I don't want to spoil everything for y'all, which I really do recommend going to read this on your own. Trust me, it's actually really fun to do. But I mainly wanted to tell you guys about the odd premise that is night 6, just in case if Bronwyn or her mother ever have any future lore importance in the games. However, what if I told y'all that as a reward to stick until the very end of this video, I have saved the best lore from this book for last? Ever wonder how Phone Guy was able to get Bronwyn's message in the first place? Well, during a secret route in night 5, while you're trapped in the security office, you have a phone, but due to probably Wi-Fi issues and plot convenience, you're not really able to call 911. Instead, you can only call the extensions of the other phones around the restaurant, the dining area, the kitchen, and backstage. You then have the option to type in a 4-digit code. If you type in the same digits that you found on a ticket earlier in that route, then you can get the Bronwyn's voicemail that we already talked about. However, there are 2 other options. You can dial in 1983 and 1987. If you choose to dial in 1983, then on the other end of the phone guy can hear the bite of 83 taking place, complete with the same dialogue from Fnaf 4 and everything. Not only fully confirming that the bite of 83 was the crying child, which, yeah, no shit, we kind of already thought that anyways, but also, Phone Guy lets us know that before the bite of 87, the bite of 83 was instead known as the Big Bite, before needing to have a year to distinguish which bite it was. He compares it to World War I and World War II, and how originally World War I was just called the Great War. Well, apparently the bite of 83 was just called the Big Bite. Damn, I never would have imagined the bite of 83 being compared to World War I. If you instead choose to type the code 1987 into the phone, not only do you and your daughter actually get to have a happy ending, but you also hear somebody say the words incorrect password slowly in reverse, until eventually you finally hear somebody on the other end, and it is actually your own past recording. It is the recording from night 5 in Fnaf 2. The last recording that Jeremy Fitzgerald hears before moving to day shift and becoming the bite of 87 victim. So yeah, 2 pretty fucking dope Easter eggs giving us just some extra clarification on both of the bites. Still no confirmation or deconfirmation though on if Cassie's dad is the bite of 87 victim, so I'm still holding on to that theory. But anyways, if you guys have read The Week Before, what did y'all think of it? Did y'all like it? Did y'all not like it? Let me know y'all's thoughts and any hidden lore Easter eggs y'all may have found in the comments below. And if you haven't read it, what are you doing? Go get it. It's really good. It's very, very good book. Very, very, very good. Make sure to lightly tap that like button with your penis, and if you don't have a penis, well then go get one. It's 2024. And I will see y'all in the next video. Goodbye.